This is cell body. This is dendrites. Axon, nucleus, Nissel granules. This diagram you can find out in your book. And one thing, this one is synaptic cleft. You can see that. Synaptic bulb. Okay. So by this synaptic cleft or bulb, neurons attach to each other and make a long fiber, which can say that uh, nerve. So axon is a long processes. These are the axon. It is covered with neurolemma. Membrane is neurolemma. Sometimes this neurolemma is leaves the point that is known as nodes of Ranvier. Nodes of Ranvier. The axon terminal are closely, that is the synaptic bulb and synaptic cleft. This is attached with other dendrites of other neuron and make a thin fiber. That fiber is known as nerves. So many nerves, nerve fibers. So many nerve fibers are enclosed with the membrane that called as nerve. Myelin sheath, that is neurolemma, outermost sheath is known as neurolemma, and it is surrounded by the sheath that is known as myelin sheath. Neurolemma is the outermost layer of myelin sheath. Okay, this diagram you have to practice because it may be asked. Now transmission of the nerve impulse. Transmission of the nerve impulse in all nerves, membrane, outside the membrane, in the normal condition, the outside the membrane there is sodium ion, that is positive charge ion, and this stage is known as polarized stage, and inner side of the membrane there are negative charge, because positive is uh, balanced with negative charge. This is known as polarized stage, or we can say that resting stage. Okay. Now due to stimulation, suppose if stimulation is act here, so this make that sodium ion permeable, this make permeable to sodium ion, which move inwards. So suppose this is move inwards. this move inwards, and this is known as excited. ये resting stage थी, now this is excited, and we can call it as depolarization. Depolarization. Okay. After depolarization, the point of depolarization becomes stimulus for the next neighboring areas. For this can cause the stimulus for these area, so it shift towards here. So positive ion, this makes permeable here, and then it moves out, and negative ion moves in, so it becomes repolarized. That area is repolarized again. Previous area becomes repolarized, like this. Repolarized. Hmm. And now this area becomes excited. So in this way, stimulus is moves through the uh, neurons, and the transport is achieved by sodium pump using energy. Energy is taken from ATP. As you know, ATP is the compound which is energy currency for the cell. So in this way, conduction of nerve impulse through the nerve fibers. This is the conduction of nerve impulse. So any message which is passed through the nerve fibers, it is in form of nerve impulse. Now synapse. Synapse is the point of contact between the terminal branches of axon of a neuron with the dendrite of another neuron, separated by a fine gap, and this gap is known as synaptic cleft. And in this, the nerve impulse jumps into the second neuron. How? Because in this gap, a chemical acetylcholine is released. This is the transmission of nerve impulse, as you know. Now I will show you how transmission from one uh, neuron to another, like this. This is known as synaptic cleft. Dendrites of any other axon of other neuron. This one, it is gap, synaptic cleft, synaptic gap, you can say that. And in this area, acid acetylcholine, acetylcholine, it is a neurotransmitter. This compound is released here, which becomes stimulus for another neuron. This as the nerve impulse is moved through here, like same way as I explain here. I explained here. So nerve impulses move through the axon and reach up to the bulb, synaptic bulb, and after that this is the second neuron. How it transfer here, they never contact. Here is a, we can say that this is synapse, but they never touch to each other. So there is a gap. So in this gap, neurotransmitter acetylcholine is released, and it is filled here. It is released at that time only when nerve impulse reach up to here. Okay, same as get polarized and get depolarized, and acetylcholine is released here. This acetylcholine is becomes it becomes a stimulus for another neuron, and the nerve impulses jumps from here to here. We can say that jumps, but it not actually jump. It is disturbance occurs by acetylcholine, means stimulus occurs by acetylcholine for the next neuron, and stimulus carry in next neuron, and at the end of next neuron, at the axon of next neuron, same processes repeat. So in this way, nerve impulses carry through the nerve fibers. Okay, types of neurons, there are three types of neurons. uh, Three types of neurons: sensory, motor, and association. Sensory, which carry impulse from the receptor, from receptor to central nervous system. Motor, from central nervous system to receptor. uh, and association, it is joint sensory to motor. Okay, and the nerve which is formed by the sensory neurons, they are known as sensory nerves, and which is formed by motor neurons, they are known as motor nerves, and it is made by sensory and motor both, so it is called as mixed nerves. So nerves are the bunch of nerve fibers which are uh, enclosed in myelin sheath. So three kinds of nerves are as follows: sensory nerves carry only sensory fibers, which carry impulses from the receptors to the brain. For example, optic nerves, which carry impulses from the eye. Motor nerves contains only motor fibers which carry impulses from the central nervous system. For example, brain to eyeball. Mixed nerves, which carry both sensory and motor fibers, both are spinal nerve. So this is the